first and foremost, I want to go over the attacks. Now every map has its own like different level that not different level, but different strategy you have to attack using. Like any way you're gonna actually attack a map, you need to learn the strat first. Contact your local expert shot caller. Your local contact doesn't really matter. Someone who you actually know, EU doesn't matter, who has done the map before, knows what they're doing, can help you improve, gives you a strat for it. Strat is essential. You go over the map ahead of time. Doesn't have to be with your players. Just has to be like your shot caller. Maybe have him talk it over with a few different people. Just what he has to do. Get your stack sheet together. There's your second major essential thing. Have a stack sheet. Holy shit, have a stack sheet. And then when the night comes up, do a little briefing for your players. Have them prepped and primed on what you need. What you need for Zeus. You can just type to me like what the actual event was at the time, so I can go back and actually see the timestamp, what they mean. But yeah, every map has its own thing, and yeah, give your players a briefing. After you give yourself a briefing, your players a briefing, then you can actually continue on and actually use the things we presented here today. Now, well, I'll go from the start of an attack all the way through it to the end. Just any general attack. First things you want to do on absolutely every single attack. You want to break breach. You want to break gate if there's a breach. And just have it set up for anti-cav. Just a 40 Modao on gate, on breach, wherever you want. It's all you need. You just don't want them to sally on you at any point. Those guys are going to be your anchor. They're just going to stay there for a lot of the fight. You as a shot caller need to make the executive decision of when they have to go in. They cannot rotate to where the rest of your push is. They have to push in from where they are. Anyway, that's the first thing you do. If you want to land towers. Now, landing towers, generally, you can do this before you break breach or anything like that. It's generally safer to do. It loses you a lot of time if you do it this way. Generally, you want to do these things kind of simultaneous. So, when you place down towers, if they're providing a lot of resistance when putting up towers, what most houses do, and most people do provide resistance when putting up towers, culverins, cannons, whatever, you can actually have your players, just your first 15, just have whatever necessary number with easily pushing units. That means like shield maidens, your berserkers, your VG, anything that's a small unit. You wolf boys in blue meta, have them climb up the ladders, and they're going to be fighting on the walls, preventing them from setting up counter arty to destroy your shit. Beyond that, you're going to if they're really providing a lot of resistance and you can't get players up there, or they're just kicking the ladders, whatever it might be, it's as easy as just putting a single Namkin there. It will apply 15 bleed stacks of bleed to your enemy, and they will not be able to sit there and sustain a counter for very long. Meanwhile, this entire time while they're doing this, you obviously are pushing the tower with one of your units. But again, I need to advise you, Namkin should not be your first resort every time. That's a far and few between if they're like allocating 10, 15 people onto the wall. Something stupid. Most of the cases you can just exploit that and just push straight through if they're not set up, or create your own push conditions in some other method. I keep using the words like push conditions, or I'll use arty phase. Push conditions are basically you have to create a situation where you are able to push through. A fully set up enemy, you are not going to be able to push through if they're doing it right. I don't know what level of house you're fighting. Maybe you don't need to create push conditions. Maybe you don't. They create their own push conditions for you if they're bad enough, because, well, I mean, they're just not set up. But beyond that, create your push conditions for this and towers are not that push condition. They're the setup for that push condition. So when you're pushing the towers, generally you want to only allocate a few players to actually going up those towers in the end. And the reason you want to set up all of your players in that group with, here's what the plan is for the night, here's how we're going to push this city, is you need every single player to know in muster what they're doing, how they're going to go about actually pursuing their raid, their attack. Before pushing into any point, generally you want to pressure from all sides. I'll give you the example of the Western Fief, because this is what most people are most used to. I'm talking about the Southwestern Fiefs, Dunjavarian Fiefs, Turalvaros. Generally, you have a breach, you have the gate, and you have sometimes towers. Some people have opted out of towers. For the cities, at the very least, you can break the breach, break the gate, push up with ladders, and you go from 3 sides. You go from the gate, the breach, and off the walls. You set up your push conditions on the walls. You place down arty up there. You can overhang right at the top of the wall. This isn't the most terrific example because there's those stairs down here, but you can set up a grape shot right here, overhanging. It can aim down. Say there's a supply point over there, it can hit the supply point over there. It can overhang the wall and it can aim down probably about 45 degrees. It's a fairly good spot aim, considering that you get basically 100% headshots. It should, if you're good with your grape shots, you can get basically 1 kill every single time you fire your grape shot. All right. Now, again, you want to apply pressure to every place individually, and only as soon as that pressure breaks, they over-rotate, they lose some cycling on a certain point, they overreact. It doesn't matter the situation. Generally, you want to name like 3. You have 3 essential things that you need to have ready in order to instigate your actual push. First and foremost is you want to make sure that the enemy over-rotates. So you have 5 people. It doesn't have to be exact numbers. 5 people on stairs, 5 people on gate, 5 people on breach. You want to enter a situation where you're applying pressure, you're posturing, you're making sure that they're forced to react in situations. Otherwise, you're just going to wear them down over time. And either they fail to cycle players, meaning that they have extremely weak units just across their across the field, and you can just push straight through that, no hardship at all. Or the enemy over rotates, so they respawn, they pull new units, whatever, and they think you're doing a gate push, but whatever their shot caller makes a mistake in calling, and you head over and you they go and fully breach, fully on breach, and you're just able to push through gate, or they're fully on gate and you're able to push through breach very easily. And you can use that using Falcos to create those push conditions to weaken them up, to destroy their arty, and to along with your arty, of course, war rockets, etc., in order to push through any situation. Generally, there's on different maps, there's setups for different arty placements. Each specific map has its own placements. I'm not going to go over every single map to explain to you what the exact arty placements are. Again, contact your local shot caller. All right. Oh yeah, use something like Strat Sketch. By the way, it's very easy. There's another website out there. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's very good. Second of all, you have to make sure that your players, it doesn't have to be all of them, but almost all of them, have their unit full health, or rather full, rather healthy. It's not half a unit of 40s. And then they also have an arty in their slot. Generally, you want a purple grave shot, because as you push into any point, as you break through, you place down arty immediately as you get through. It's something that veteran players have beaten into them over and over and over and over again after territory war, and it's something that makes them better players just across the board. And it's something that you can definitely do to improve very easily, just like that. Generally, you want to put down purple grape shots. There's different specific already for different situations, but purple grape shots are the best because they kill heroes immediately. You want to aim that slightly up directly for their heads in the middle of that cone, because it is a cone and it spreads out. Does that shot caller actually have a fallback if they decide to sally? And I'm going to combine this with do you have enough muster for your push? Point being, let's imagine you're pushing through on breach and they say, what if we just all pull cav and go through gate? Do we just win? Maybe they just win. If you aren't set up for that, if you don't have enough like players in position, 1-2 players on gate to stop that counter push, that sally, you're going to lose every fight to a good house. On top of that, you need your muster actually in queue, ready to go into the battle. If you don't have your muster ready, you will like almost certainly lose. They're going to break muster on you. They're going to decide, okay, we're going to sally out, or they're going to reset all their arty, and you're just going to lose time. You need your muster ready. People can pull second or third units, whatever, when your muster's low, but it's something that you need in order to commit to a push. You need your muster. Just that's something for the shot caller to watch out for. I mentioned this earlier with the grape shots, but setting up arty for a push is essential. You want to destroy their grape shots, their culverins, their war rockets, their falcos. You need to destroy that first in order to actually push through. That's part of your push condition. But the final part of a push, and probably the most essential part of any push, is committing to that push. It sounds much simpler than it actually is, and this is something for your shot caller to specifically pay attention to. When you commit to a push, it is essential, absolutely essential, that you follow through on that. You don't just send in your unit, you go through. Yeah, press W and win. Yeah, just press W. That's the meme, but it's real. It's genuinely real for a good amount of it. Your players, and I see this in absolutely every single VOD I see of like lower level houses or anything that's even in high level houses. It happens all the time. People are so shit at this. One is like they get a massive fucking ego, and they're like, I'm the guy that pulls 3 units because I'm just better than all of you. The other is they're bad and they're slot locking. Hey Sven. Cardinal sin of running out of walls to grab a fresh unit. Yeah, no, legit. Honestly, the number one thing people do that ruins pushes is in the middle of the push, they turn around, especially on those Western feasts, they turn around, they go back to the supply point, they grab another unit, and then they leave again. Or they go back into the push. You just want your shot caller doing that. You can hop off the walls for your... starting to hop off the walls. You can hop past the units and the players and go to their supply point, interrupt, create momentum. When you have to commit to your push, you need to tell your players as a shot caller to get in there. Just go. Like if they're hanging back on the stairs, this happens all the time in our earlier fights. Generally, you want to tell your players specifically that they need to walk towards the point, get up the stairs, and just place their units there. Get involved in the battle. I'll give you a personal anecdote. On the southern cities, the stairs are very easy to just sort of sit on and not get hit. A lot of times what people will do is they'll place their modal on the southern city. I'm talking about Anadolu cities, by the way, on the final point. A lot of people just put their modal on the stairs and just sit there thinking they're contributing to the push when they're very, very much not. You need to get your units involved in the fight. Cycle out if you have to. It's not a bad thing to cycle out. It's usually, you should only be in the fight for like 2 minutes or 3 minutes if you're a very high level player. And beyond that, you can decide on your shot caller. Shot callers have to be the one to call that out. Beyond that, oh yeah, if someone's continuously doing this, threaten to kick them out of your house, or just kick them out of your house straight up. It's not worth having them. They're slot locking your fights. And we'll get more into slot lockers in a little bit, but we have to talk about momentum. Momentum is like the third pillar of what makes a good push. You have to just maintain, when entering into a push, you can maintain your momentum. Like you have fighting together with the rest of your house will give you guys a momentum in and of itself that sort of syncs up naturally, but that takes time to develop. However, you have to decide on like actually having momentum. The same applies to your enemy as well. They're gonna have their own momentum. You guys need to set the momentum as the attackers, otherwise they're just gonna walk all over you. So generally you need to keep the pressure up. For any sort of momentum based push, you do not want your players walking in, oh, we captured X point, now we're just gonna sit here AFK. As soon as you get X point, set up your arty on point, establish yourself. If they continue to push, let them continue to push in. However, as soon as they're no longer like contesting you on that X point, you need to maintain the momentum. Do not fall into the noob player trap of sitting on supply point as soon as you get X and getting all your players to pull new units and everyone gets it up and this and that and that. You are going to lose. You maintain your momentum. That is not for those X players to do. X players don't do that. As soon as they get X, the person who's assigned to it stays on X. They push through, they go, and the rest of your players should be aiming for home. Disrupt. Do not let them set up their arty. Do not let them set up basically counter push conditions. Like your count, like their counters basically. Don't let them set up and continue to push through. Yeah, again, your muster is the one who are meant to close out that home point push. It's not for your X players. Just to reiterate, don't go back to your supply point in the middle of a push. That can actually be used disruptively when you run out of units as an attacker or even as a defender. You can run out of the fort or into the fort at any point. Just hop on your horse and run past. Hop on the point, run past, go around, and just hop on their supply. If they cannot pull units, and they have players sitting there who do not have units, you are making it significantly easier for you guys to push through. Generally, the muster times is much longer to get in a new player than it is to have a old player like grab new units. And to add on to that, you can also when you see someone who doesn't have any units left, generally this is going to be a short sword. I'm telling you right now, generally this is going to be a short sword. The short sword does 0 damage when they swing their sword. Absolutely not. You think they do damage, you're wrong. If they're running around doing nothing, swinging at units, just leave them there. Do not kill them. They are a slot locking player that will just sit there and swing at units. Walk past them, tap your stuff. Yeah, going back to 5 point when there's a Q is the wrong answer. Unless told otherwise, of course. Again, listen to your shot caller. You might think you're a vet player who can ignore the shot caller. You're not. You think that? You're not. All right. So, I think your team is in the middle of a push. Yeah, just don't kill them. Let them. Again, this can be used against you, sometimes unintentionally, and I know a lot of new players do this as well, where they're just in the fight for just way too long. Way too long. That's for your shot caller to call out. If someone's in the fight for longer than like 5-7 minutes, get them out of the fight. They are not contributing enough to the fight in order to still be in that fight. Even if they have a full unit, I don't care. Get them out of the fight. They are not being proactive with their units, with their hero, with their whatever. Beyond that, I have one more thing for momentum. Yeah, we got the supply, we got running past. Oh yeah, for running past, you can just destroy Artie as well. You as a single player, like you don't have to worry about that. Actually, that C Raider shot caller sees all. Yeah, that leads into a few of my general tips here. I'll get back to defense in a second, but the first thing for a shot caller and just any house in general, have your shot caller stream their screen in Discord. I don't care if you have a second monitor or not. It doesn't matter. If you only have one monitor, tab in and out between. If you don't have a second monitor, go on your phone. You have a phone, just watch it while you're not in the fight. It's not important that you actually see what's going on in the fight. What's important is you always know what you need as an upcoming player. Be ready to switch units. Be ready to know what to bring in, what Artie, where you need to go before you're even called into muster by the game. That depends on the fight. How do you mean, Raider? Generally, from what I understand it, when you go into like into VOD review, or not in VOD review, but into your VOD, as you're watching it, it will help out the player that's watching it, and it allows them to be preemptive about it. Beyond that, oh yeah, hit tab. Hit tab. Whether you're a player, especially if you're a shot caller. If you're a shot caller, you should be doing it like every 30 seconds, maybe every minute. But as a player, you should also be hitting tab. Keep track of where your players are. Keep track of where the enemy players are. Know who has Artie, who has your what units on what point. It's very, very useful for you. I only have a little bit left on defense. Defense, a lot of overlaps with. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'll bring you in a second, C Raider. I just have a little bit on defense. A lot of it overlaps with the offense, and then I have a few tips, and then I can bring people in for questions, etc. Yeah, I don't know why there's such a delay. There shouldn't be. So again, tab is your best friend. VOD review. VOD review is important. Even if not all of your players attend, even if it's just your top players, even if it's just a few shot callers or a few top members, playing this back and knowing how you or your house messed up is essential to improving. Have a little screenshot, which it's basically the only way to really improve at anything, mind you, but the only way to improve just as a shot caller. Well, there you are. So you basically the few things that you require: a valid environment. Valid environment. What is that? Territory war, VOD review, something to increment, even certain training. I'm not going to get into how you should train your players today. That can be a separate thing, but create a valid environment where you can actually use the things you're learning. Many repetitions, you have to do it over and over again. Of course, that's important. Everyone knows that for like improving at anything. Timely feedback. Timely feedback, not only from yourself, from your players, and VOD review is a massive part of that. And then deliberate practice. Know what you are messing up on. Let others tell you what you're messing up on, and let others know what they're messing up on. When you're doing VOD review, call out your specific players on what they need to improve. It may seem, oh, I'm going to lose this player if I'm too mean to them. You're not. If that player is so fragile that they can't take a little bit of constructive criticism, as long as you're not clowning them the entire time, if they can't take that little bit of constructive criticism, you're going to take one loss and they're going to leave the house. You're going to take 2 losses, they're going to leave the house. They're going to leave the house anyway. Calling them out, helping them improve is not going to make them leave the house by any means. Yeah, just don't clown them. Oh, and third thing for the shot callers, tell your players when to set up arty or when to cycle. Tell them. They're not paying attention all the time. You are. That's your job. Just kick them out. Kick them out. Tell them to get out. Tell them to die. Tell them what to do and how to die. General vet players, I said this already, vet players know when to ignore the shot caller. You don't. You just listen to your shot caller. Watch shot caller on your phone or your second monitor. Be ready to switch units. And to defend a fief, move your camp. You can also switch your units in your warband in order to do this. And you can pull infinite arty. Speaking of arty, on defense, the number one absolute biggest thing on defense, arty, arty, arty. Keep it in your head. If you think you have enough, you don't. Place down more. Doesn't matter what it is. You need more arty. Put down 30 blue grape shots. It will help you hold like 10 times better. You want to posture constantly. If you ever see players walking through with their hero onto the breach, just walking through, you're not posturing properly. Posture with your hero, posture with your units, bring them up closer. If you need to die and cycle out of the battle, that's not a bad thing. You postured, you delayed. Your only goal is to either fully defeat them and sally on them, which is not going to happen most of the time, or delay them with time for so long. If you're constantly posturing on someone, they are not able to get intel on, are you guys weak? Is there a push condition set up? Posturing, arty. Again, I'll repeat arty again, over and over and over again. But beyond that, not knowing if you guys have your proper units, heroes, arty, etc. You always want to be cycling out your heroes. Keep them fresh, keep them toasty. You don't want people set up in an entrenched position because they get tunnel visioned for so long. You only want someone in a fight for 5 minutes, really. It really shouldn't be long, unless they're not making any moves. But you want to be cycling your heroes around, having them ready to move around or die and get out of the battle with your new muster coming in and knowing where to go. They do not always have to muster with Cav. They can. And you, again, on defense, you got to know when to fall back. You can be attacked, and to fall back is just something you have to do sometimes. It happens to literally every house. And sometimes home point is just easier to defend. Do not commit to a lost X point. It's so much easier to just, all right, we're going to set up for home. Your players that are in right now, let them delay and hold. Don't let them slot lock, as we were mentioning before, because the same thing happens on defense, letting players just survive. Don't let them slot lock. Kick out players or just tell them to die when they have to. And I think that generally is it for defense. Most of the tips on offense are very similar to defense, but you just have to be very reactive in what you're doing. Set up your arty is your major thing for holding your pushes, having the right units in position, and don't let your units be very low on health. Otherwise, you provide that push condition to your enemy. Hey, Sea Raider.
Oh, what's
Hello?
happening, man?
Not
Yep,
much. Not much. I can hear you. I don't know if.
I'm sorry, I had both your stream going and you. What's up?
I just don't know if your audio's coming through. Speak up for a second.
Yep, can you hear me?
I think they can. As you mentioned, there's a bit of a delay. I don't know how long it is, but we'll try. Oh.
I'm checking right now. Hold on.
All right. I think they can hear you.
Okay.
No rush. Anyway, you were talking. You had some advice, questions, etc. Something along those lines.
Absolutely. So when you were saying badoom, yeah, on defense, when you have players in for about 5-7 minutes, and they're not really doing a whole lot. Yeah, absolutely. Don't be afraid to eject them. If there's a queue, that is a key point right there. If there is a queue, I've seen it multiple times where if you go in and there's no queue, and then the shot caller, he's in his zone, right? But
Yeah.
he just ejects him because he sees it, right? What else was there? That was like the biggest thing. Don't be afraid to eject your players 100%. As long as they understand, like, hey, you're going to get back in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Unless there's a huge queue.
Honestly, I wouldn't even say eject your players. The number one thing that players, and especially new players, need to learn is they need to learn that they need to die. You can always 100%. You can always hit, well, you can't always, but most of the time you can hit the retreat button. And that is always faster and more consistent than the eject button. Retreat button is your best friend. During the retreat phase, you can actually still play the game. You can still affect the board. So if you die before the retreat happens, good. You just cycle out quicker.
Another big thing too. It's kind of weird, especially to say on stream, I guess. But don't be afraid to die. Like, just go in, get that arty. If you're out of units and you know there's a cube in behind you, push up, grab that arty. Either use it against them, for instance, grape shots at gate, going around, get on the grape shot, and when they're hitting you, they have to destroy their own arty too. If you stay on it, and two, you can destroy that arty as well. Just go for arty.
Generally, that is something that your vet players will do. Here's something that probably I shouldn't be telling you, but I'm going to anyway. You wanna know how I shouldn't name specific names, but we're gonna do it anyway. I don't care. You know how Thao and like Ripcat and a lot of other, let's call them top players, like just you'll notice it in sieges. They just walk past you sometimes, or Peepo is another good example. They'll walk past you sometimes and just they won't take damage. Yeah, so there's a reason for that. The number one thing that people do, that they either have terrible internet, like just absolute garbage, Wi-Fi, very laggy, low bit rate, whatever. They'll have that. Second thing they'll have is they can just upload a YouTube video at the same time. A lot of players do that, and they'll just upload a YouTube video. And oh, by coincidence, I just happen to have lower bitrate, which means I can walk past you without taking any damage. What some certain let's call them European players do en masse is they'll install a bitrate limiter on their computer. It's very easy to find a bitrate limiter online. I'm not advocating for you to do this, but let's just say there's a certain spiffing Brit video that just came out recently that literally shows you how to use a bitrate limiter like verbatim. I'm not advocating for you to use this.
Yeah, don't use this.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for you to use this, but if you notice that you're getting fucked a little too hard by someone you can't hit, that's the reason why. Blame Dylan, the intern who coded this game. It's very client-sided on the receiving end, not on the delivering end.
I used to, when I first got this game, I live out in like the fucking country, right? So I had satellite internet, 600 ping.
Oh
no
yeah,
less.
you were OP.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I played short bow too.
Even if they wanted to.
Yeah. It was great, dude.
Just
but also it kind of sucked
everywhere.
during tier. Oh yeah. I did. 100%. I got out of like everything. But I got good internet, so I had to get good, you know?
Yeah, it's like
even now.
Okay, putting the bitrate limiter on is like taking off. You become Rock Lee and take off your weighted.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, oh, I've been training for this. Wait a minute.
Fuck.
What were some of the other points that you brought up? I do apologize. I did want to speak more, but man, my memory is terrible today.
Yeah, that's fair.
What were the other points that you brought up?
I mean, I brought up a good few points. We can talk about anything. By the way, this is
For
what
sure,
happens
dude.
when you get better internet. You take off the phone.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Uh,
Stay on your horse, 100%, dude.
if you're dancing,
100%. Oh,
no,
another good.
That's actually I don't actually agree with this advice. Your horse should be used as a resource. It is a second health bar, but generally you want to be placing down arty. Here's some advice. Very very simple advice. Not every single one of your players has to be on arty. Place down like 5 arty, and one player can use all 5 pieces.
That's the best advice you could have given tonight. One person can control 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of arty while you're up there with your units doing your thing. For instance, let's say if you're on a western fort, right? So get a guy with a set of modals at the bottom of the stairs or at gate. Those modals, those forte bracios, they're not moving, right? So have that guy rotate all that fucking siege, right? You don't have umpteen million people all on siege. You have to keep your players moving. You have to keep your units moving. Otherwise, that enemy team will utilize any blind spot, breach, walls, gate, anything.
Something that that you can use is you can always this is a term generally used by veteran players. It's called an accordion. You set up a whole bunch of arty in that circle formation like we're talking about, and you basically, like an accordion, you go 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, press it all, use it all, and then it all comes back off refresh at the same time, and you can keep going in the circle round and around and around. It's called an accordion. I don't know what how you want me to justify why it's called an accordion.
I've never heard of it like that, but everybody has their own way of saying it. You know what I mean?
There's certain points. Just artillery battery doesn't really matter what it's called. You just set up arty in the back. One player mains it all. That player could even run. It doesn't have to be a modal. They can run like your cav. If you want one player to sit there, the guy who rotates between supply points and cleans up players who are backcapping, that can be your guy. That can be your accordion guy. He can run chevs. Chevs that just instantly wipe players.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I brought up a few things. I brought up towers. I brought up arty phase, momentum. I brought up rotations.
Have you brought up strat sketch or elusive guide yet?
I haven't. I'm not. I've mentioned them, but I haven't actually brought up any specific pictures. I wasn't.
Do you want to go on?
I wasn't planning on going into any.
that?
No. We don't have to. We can save that for another day. But strat sketch. I remember there was another one.
I know there used to be, but I never used it. I've always used strat sketch.
Yeah. Generally, strat sketch is your go-to. There is another website that I know was used not so long ago, but I don't know what it is. We brought up momentum. We brought up putting down arty. Oh yeah, again, place down arty as soon as you get into the push. Like when I say get into the push, I mean like as soon as you break through your breach, place down grape shots there. Arty 100%. Is king. I don't know. Generally, if you follow this advice, you are just going to start winning. Again, 2 most important things: VOD review, and that's 3 most important things. Listen to your shot caller, VOD review, and like follow through. Just follow through on whatever your shot caller tells you to do. If you don't follow through, you that's where you lose. Oh, actually, I do have one last thing. before we close out tonight, when you're pushing any point, do not hold on the point. Very classic mistake for new players. You push past the point, you block their spawn areas. You push past the point, you block where they're coming from. Western city maps, you can block the spawn and the supply at the home point. On Anadolu maps, you can block the stairs, the like both sides, the main stairs and the side stairs, where they push out from with their cavalry. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to add, Sven? Or
Yeah, absolutely. Another big thing, especially with that, if you're able to push past that point, it's serious, yeah.
Yeah, Sea Raider. I'm just so used to talking to Sven. He got so mad at me for messing up his name for so long.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the biggest thing, if you're, let's say you're having to fight on home point, right? You get some people that are pushing up past home point. They're pushing past and they're going towards their spawn. That is, number one, that's a great movement. Continue that. But at the same time, make sure people that are fresh spawning in, maybe you got 5 people pushed out, right? You still got 10 in. Have at least 8 of those guys set up for a defense. The other guys push out. That's 7 people pushing out, 8 on defense. That gives you breathing room. That gives you time to set up artillery. That gives you time to get fresh units if you need to. It really is absolutely situational. But your shot caller, if they have experience, they should be able to see that, right? And don't use numbers like 555, or you definitely can, or Tercios 333 or whatever. Try to use 8 and 7. Doing that will help you so much. I know it sounds so weird. You're like, what the fuck is that? 8-7, 8 defenders, 8 attackers. Go like that. I'm not giving away secrets by doing this either. It's pretty commonly used.
So
like
that, I think you're a little bit too caught up in the numbers here. The numbers do not matter.
Oh, yeah.
It's pure treat it like pure shot caller vibes. If you get a vibe you need more or less people on a push, that's just shot caller skill right there. That's just skill difference straight up. You need to know how many to allocate to each push into each area in order to get accomplished what you need to get done. And that's really the lot of it.
The numbers is really just for the planning. Once you're in the fight and your plan goes out the door, don't use numbers. Use names 100% of the way. Like, hey, Saki, push right.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
That's another one. Call out names during a push. You got to be as specific as possible.
You do, because I've heard so many people go push home, push home, push home, when nobody knows how to push home, right? They will stand at the gates of hell and stand there, and they will not push, right?
Yeah, I think most common occurrence is like a shot caller says, all right, everybody go home right now. Hey, nobody goes in first. Nobody's the first guy.
Yes.
Everyone just says it sits there waiting.
Who's gonna move? Who's gonna twitch?
And that's something vets get better at. But you tell your players, all right, you again hit tab, know what's going on for all of your players. You say, all right, the Palace Guards are gonna go in first. They're gonna break with the IPGs. The IPGs are gonna push through. Then we're gonna bring up the Modao. We're gonna push in through with the flames. Bring up your flames afterwards, and then move your Modao and your IPGs, all that are remaining, push them up to the stairs. Muster are going to come in with Cav, etc., etc. Just have your stuff ready, get them queued up. When a new muster spawns, get them, send them to an actual position, tell them where to go. Tell each and every one of your new players where to go. You're a shot caller. You're not a macro caller. That's such a stupid term. A macro caller is not a caller. You micro your players. There's no point of having a shot caller otherwise. Otherwise, you might as well just have an on-the-ground caller.
Field caller, yeah, we call them.
Field caller, yeah. Oh, and screw you, like hype callers. I don't want to hear the term hype caller. They're great. They're great shot callers. I like their shot calling style. They're hype caller. No, you want to play the game, and you want to be cheered on constantly, but you don't want an actual shot caller to improve with you. You just want someone to hype you up and encourage you. That's all you want. it's a piss poor excuse for a shot caller. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who consider a whole bunch of great shot callers that are literally just hype callers that don't know how to play the game. They have no clue on like fundamentals of the game. I like playing for Blackwing because it calls your name, where to go. You go what your responsibilities and is on the yeah.
That's really good. Yeah,
I've never
he's a
been
good
under
shot caller.
Blackwing. I don't know his ability. We did watch just a week ago. We watched the Gaia Thoys Trollvaros VOD. There was not to discount Blackwing in any way. He's running a like larger mid-sized house where he is essentially one of the very like free leadership that exists. I know there's very few leadership in the house, and there's not much you can do. He lost a lot of his vet player base, so he only has a few, and he doesn't have all that time to recover. But again, there was sloppy plays. There's nothing you really do about that. You have a lot of new players.
I do have another great suggestion, by the way. Whatever you, dude. So as a shot caller, like you definitely went over it in the Discord. Stream what you're seeing, and have anybody that's mustering. Make it mandatory, dude. Right? You're making the shots. You're making the calls. Make it mandatory. Have them watch your stream, so they can come in with the knowledge of, hey, either this guy got out, I can replace him. I can replace that unit. Or, hey, for instance, Saki, I need you with Cav. You're coming in. You're going to go tab right. Boom. He'll see exactly what he'll need to do before even selecting his troops, right? And also with the first 5 muster going into the fight, you have the option of looking at what shot callers see, basically. You're zoomed in on a player. It's too easy. Press Z, as in... what is fucking zebra? That gives you the bird eye view. Press and hold tab will give you everything else. Bird eye view is like, make sure you're utilizing both of those tools. Z gives you a really good view of what tab doesn't show, right? It gives you the whole entire battlefield, end color, whole 9 yards, 3D, blah blah blah. It shows units. It shows where heroes are going. And it shows you a different angle than what your players will see.
Oh, and if you want to see a specific player individually, you can always hit Alt and then click on the person's name while in the Z menu, and you can go specifically to that player.
100%.
As you
it's
want
a
the
really
tab
good
menu.
tool to... Yeah, exactly. You can see if breach or gate is getting overran. What do they need there, right? As a shot caller, you can be like, I need cav here, I need infantry here, or I just need more artillery here, right? Look at what your players are seeing. Look at what they're reporting. Always be in that Z mode. That Z mode will save you so much fucking help. Tab, really, really, you need to use tab. Tab shows exactly what units are currently on the battlefield, which are very important, right? If you see the enemy team is full cav, all right, bet. Full anti-cav on your team. Don't worry about it, right? Look at what your players have and look at what your enemy have. Look at the artillery pieces that they have and can potentially put down, and look at what your team also has. Who has artillery? Who can place it where? For instance, siege towers going up. All right, I got this guy with purple culverin. Get up on the wall, place down that fucking culverin, boom, right? So you have to utilize every bit of tool as a shot caller, everything. And make sure the muster coming in is also seeing that. They'll learn from it. I don't
necessarily know that all that is essential for a shot caller. A lot of that is like player responsibility.
I went into both, honestly. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, let me give you an example of what you're saying. Let me give you an example of what you're saying. For example, you for a siege tower going down and say, okay, hit tab, say, look at the culverin, da 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 da. That doesn't have to be necessarily how it is. Generally, you want to say just every player should be prepared because they got the briefing at the beginning of your before battle. They got their briefing. They should have their artillery. You put out a stack sheet telling them what artillery to bring, so you know what already they're bringing. Tell them to go in, grab a culverin, place it down on the wall. Like Sea Raider, go place down an RD to count you, and you. Place down RD, counter that siege tower. That's your job.
100%. But you and I both know that some people just don't or not listen, but don't follow exactly, right? What you have on the sheet. They don't have everything you need. As a player, they don't.
Oh,
you know?
I mean, artillery, here nor there. But I mean, like units. If you tell them to bring a unit, they should.
Oh yeah, unit. Yeah, they should definitely have the unit.
But
artillery,
I mean, like, so many players have. If they're not a brand new player, like honestly, if they're a brand new player, them bringing RD is practically useless. Wait 100, wait like 300 levels before even touching RD. You are a cycle unit and a cycle hero just until you get that. You bring in, you come in with your one unit, and then you die. That's all you do for your
place that RD for veterans. You know what I mean?
No, not even. Exactly. Not even. You don't even have good RD enough. And you're just gonna sit.
They get handed.
I know they do. But they're just gonna waste it. They're gonna place it in bad positions. They're gonna throw it.
True.
And they're not gonna have any for later when they're veterans themselves. Just first trainer levels. You're just gonna come in, cycle, die, whatever.
Also goes into training too, though. You know what I mean? There's that training that you were saying. If your new players are coming in and they're getting, all right, hey, look at this strat sketch, for instance, right? You can have specific days. Hey, we're training for infantry, we're training for cav, we're training on artillery placement. If you do not train on artillery fucking placement, you're doing something wrong, dude. You will lose in the big games. Promise you. If your new players don't understand where artillery placement is on those maps, you won't live very long.
They don't need to. Okay, so they don't need to know artillery placement like memorized. They just don't. Need to know
not
that.
memorized, but a general understanding at least. You know what I mean?
Kinda. Honestly, all you really need to do for the most part is day of, before territory war starts, get them into your channel like 30 minutes ahead. Doesn't matter. You say, all right, 50 minutes ahead. We're gonna do a quick briefing. 5-10 minutes. That's it. Here's where you're placing RD on defense. That's all you need to know. This is where you place this. This is where you place that. This, that, the other. These are where you place all these different RDs. And you just have it set up as an image on your strat sketch. This is what you have. As a shot caller, this is what you should have prepared.
100%.
But so, I mean, that responsibility is not necessarily on the players. Some of that is on the players. As a shot caller, especially with new players, everyone should be that guy. What I mean by being that guy is like, you are the Modao guy. You are the Fort Brachio guy. You are the Flames. You are the... If you're not a veteran player, like every 300 levels, maybe you get a new unit you're good with. Every 200 levels, maybe. But you only get that one unit to actually use. Which is another thing where your first 300, 400 levels, you are just a cycle player. You come in with your one unit. Let's call it Modao. You come in with your Modao. You only know how to play Modao for all of your sieges. You're bringing Modao into every single siege. This will help your players learn so quickly. You find out what units they like, and then you force them to play that unit every single territory war, in sieges, every single time with your players constantly. They're using that unit. They can use whatever else in sieges, doesn't matter. But they need to be good at using that one unit. Get 100 kills a game, just that one unit.
Repetition. Yep. Can't stress that one enough, honestly.
It's something that like no house does. No new house forces their players to bring a specific unit just over and over and over again. They will switch it up every single week. I know for a fact you don't do this.
They're gonna listen to their members. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't want to. It's boring. Blah blah blah. But at the same time, what do you want? Do you want to play TW to win?
Okay. So you asked them, hey, what? Give me a few meta units that you like, that you have fun with. Okay, here's your 3 meta units you like. All right.
Work with them. Yeah.
No. Tell them you like VG, you like Shield Maidens, you are VG guy. You come in, you play VGs. You play shield maintenance. Doesn't matter. Pick your meta unit. Stick with it. That's what they're going to be playing every territory war, and that is the #1 way they're going to improve as a player. They need to learn how to int, and with that unit, use it well. Oh, speaking of training, we brought this up earlier. I'm just going to go... I got a little rant about training. Every single house I've ever done training with, fucking dog shit. Annoying. Horrible. Worst. Because it's going to be scrims that are like totally disorganized. Your house leaders might think they're very organized and great. They're not. They're lying to themselves if they think they are. Every single one I've been to ever, even the ones I've put on before, terrible, horrible. It's generally just to keep up.
At least you're admitting it, right?
No, it is. It's like to keep. It's generally to keep up appearances and like get players engaged. It's not to actually train them. You want to actually train players? Run 6 minute scrims. You get a 15-man team on one side and a 50-man team on the other. You run it in the training mode on a breach. You break down the breach consistently, and you say, all right, your job within 3 minutes, push through this breach. Go. Defense gets no shot caller. They have to organize themselves because they already know where the enemy's coming from, so the shot caller is not necessary. But the offense gets a shot caller and organize on how to push through, and you just run that over and over and over again. 6 minutes each, run it 10 times over the course of an hour, and your players will get better by the end. There is no excuse to run, oh, we're just going to run scrims for like half an hour. You're not learning anything from that. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of everyone's time involved. Same thing with you. If we got to get our setup properly and correctly set up right. No, you're not going to have that in an actual siege. You get 3 minutes. That's it.
It's a really cool little method. I ain't thought about it like that.
Well, that's all you're doing in territory war.
Called out, yeah.
I'm not calling just agree. It's like every shot caller is doing this. Every house is doing this.
I'm seeing exactly what you're saying because every single training I've been to, I felt the exact same way.
You felt useless.
One.
You felt like it was a waste of time. Every player thinks training is the worst waste of time they've ever been to, and they do it anyway to be friends with the guy, keep up looks, to do whatever. It's useless. It's a waste of time. Make your training useful, effective, and more people will come to it. You notice that your trainings don't get any players coming to it? That's why. No one cares. They don't like it.
You're not wrong, dude. Holy shit. What a solution, too. You not only brought up the problem, you brought up the solution. That's really good. Damn.
I don't know. I think yeah, the last thing is your training is fit, and I guess that's pretty well it. I swear I have something on the tip of my tongue here that I want to say. I don't know if anyone in chat or if you have anything to say, see Raider. Well, I'm trying to remember what I wanted to say, but go for it.
Well, shit. Oh, dude, hero classes, fucking important. Seriously, you do not need fucking 10 Nadachis. Dear Lord, please start utilizing proper weapon classes within territory wars.
Listen,
and this is specifically you know what, there are some amazing ones out there, but fuck me running if I see another goddamn TW with 10 Nadachis and one short sword. Oh my god, I was like,
honestly for this meta, it's like Maul, Pike, and Spear for some of them. Short sword, poleaxe does work. Honestly, no, short sword it's okay, but it's just good for staying alive. You just have to use a unit, but units at the moment are so strong that you basically don't even need your hero for most of it. Use it for the what some people call bubble burst, or the break, the thunderstruck, the belly flop, whatever. Use it for the ult. Your shield throw is stupid currently, and yeah, that's really it.
Dude, where I was going with it is like during territory war, your goal as a hero is to stay alive, right? So you want to go in with
I disagree.
heavy. No, you want your unit. How do you disagree? You want their units to go in and do the work, right?
Yeah, you can do that with any. You can do that with any class, though. You don't have to push in your hero, and you can control your unit and your hero independently. That's something that vet players learn to do. Like, you don't have to be watching your hero at all time. Your units at all time. You just have to know the combos you have to hit on your keyboard in order to use your units. Like, I'll give you my VGs, and I'll run by with my pike, and I'll just flip past, and I'll destroy Artie while I'm doing it, and I'll just hit V. I'll get my ability up. I'll hit 2, and then I'll hit V1, 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 and I'll just wipe an entire 200 units. And
but this is for the smaller houses, you know what I mean? This is the advice I'm trying to give to them.
Yeah, just win those. Skill diff.
Just win this skill issue.
I don't know. Just if you play your unit enough, like, just win. This is something that will improve your house 100% guaranteed. Be that guy on your unit. You are a Modal guy. You are a VG guy. Learn how to play your VG through just spamming it in Siege. Play 50 levels, 100 levels worth of that one unit in order to actually learn how to play that unit. You should be able to use that unit independently from your hero.
You can honestly, if you go in, let's say you're going in with a Nadachi, right? You could be the worst dueler in history of CB. But if you know how to use that Nadachi with Modals, right? Or any kind of other unit that you're using, you can become a god on the battlefield. Use your units, use your class with your units. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? If you can go in with your unit, you can do anything. Please utilize your units with your heroes. Or just stand off on the side like Saki and be like, hey, charge.
I don't stand off to the side. I go past on. What do you think all those divers are doing?
You are the guy I love because I have Tercios that just love to press
Fuck you.
2.
Fuck you. Why are you using Tercios?
Because they're amazing, and then for that exact reason.
Just use Chevs.
Why? Tercios have number one more stopping power, and they stop heroes dead in their tracks from doing exactly what you're telling these guys to do.
Yeah, Chevs do that like Chevs do that like 10 times better.
Chevaliers?
Yeah, Chevaliers. Use green crossbows.
You're using Chevaliers with Dennisman crossbows?
Yeah.
Why?
They're broken, and they currently wipe literally anything. They one-shot heroes. So you remember when pavés were broken and they had remember when pavés were broken and had that infinite reload where they immediately shot
like
all
a
their
machine
bullets?
gun.
Yeah, so that's how Chevs work with the green crossbows.
With the
I
thought they were blue.
No, green crossbows. That's how Chevs work. They just win. They will wipe they will wipe any unit in a 1v1. Bring them into a field. Literally any field, and they will win. You just hit the 2 ability.
Oh my god.
Yeah. They're
Wait, was that with the update or something, or
no? This was last season.
Have I been missing with this?
It's like how you know how shield maidens are broken currently.
Yeah, dude, they're fucking nasty.
Yeah,
right
but they didn't update shield maidens. Just no one discovered shield maidens were this broken. Same thing.
Halberdiers.
Same
the
thing
purple
with
halberdiers.
the what's it called? Same thing with the Chevs. Just no one knew they were this broken until someone did.
Dude, have you seen the halberdier sergeants?
I have.
Dude, they got a quiet buff, and you can tell me I'm wrong, dude, because they are fucking nasty.
I haven't
as a
played
hero.
with them so much. I don't know.
Neither have I, but every time I come across them, instant kill, dude. It's actually nasty. I need to utilize them more.
Honestly, I'd just prefer using 40. I'd rather just hit V on my 40.
Very true.
Anyway, I think that's where we'll close it out for tonight. I think we've sort of wrapped up everything we did. I wanted to talk about. We've talked about attack, we talked about the towers, the arty phase and push conditions, and then we went over the 3 essentials of the shot caller and how to handle momentum. We went over defense a little bit, that it's mostly arty. We've gone over some few tips and tricks. I told you how you should train your house and why your training is dog shit. I'm not lying.
No, you're not. That's why I'm giggling.
And I've explained that you need to make your certain specific heroes that guy. You feel free to tell them you're not that guy afterwards, but for right now they are that guy. Oh yeah, hit tab. We gave some advice to shot caller. Please VOD review. And yeah, I think that's mostly it.